Some notable injured Steelers just returned to practice. Does it even matter though? And 4 Steelers led the whole AFC in Pro Bowl fan voting at their respective positions. All that and more, Big Deke News. So Cole Holcomb, Roman Wilson, and Logan Lee just got designated to return from IR and started practicing yesterday, which opens up their 21-day window to return and be activated to the 53-man roster. And that Snoop Dogg meme? Yeah, I dropped it. And it was for just Logan Lee. It wasn't for the other 2 names. Listen, I know who Logan Lee is, 6th-round rookie out of Iowa. But I'm saying like half of you guys watching right now don't remember who he is or know who he is. Mainly because he is a 6th-rounder and hasn't even suited up for the Steelers at all this year. Now with Cole Holcomb, he hasn't played at all either. But at least last year, he was our starting inside linebacker. And even though Roman Wilson barely played, he was a 3rd-round pick for us, a national championship, highly touted receiver coming out of Michigan. So we know who he is. Maybe using the Snoop meme wasn't justified. Maybe it was a stretch. I'm not even going to front. Maybe it was a stretch. But it's been so long, damn it. I feel like it needed to happen. Anyways, does anyone have serious faith at this point that any of these 3 guys are going to actually play this season, let alone have impact with 1 game left in the regular season, and then you have the playoffs starting the following week? At the same time, with us being on this 3-game skid in the current state of the team, maybe it is time to just say, F it. If any of these guys are healthy enough, why not see what one of them could do and see if they could be better than what we got going right now? Because with Cole Holcomb, he could definitely help with some tackling, which is tough to say when you got guys like, it's just hard to say that. We shouldn't be saying that. When you got guys like Patrick Queen, TJ Watt, a Peyton Wilson, a Landon Roberts, and Alex Highsmith, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the guys on our front 7 that we've allocated some heavy resources to. But I digress. Like, we shouldn't be talking about the tackling being an issue. But let's just be straight up. It hasn't been there. And when Holcomb was actually playing in a Steeler uniform last season, I thought he was a force. But that was last year. So there's going to be some rust. But at this point, I'm open to all options to help hold opponents to under 30-plus points, because that's something we haven't been able to do, at least on average, over these last 3 games. And shout out to Holcomb, too, for even just being available and being an option at this point in the season and working his ass off to where he might actually be able to play in this 2024-2025 season.
Did you have any idea how long it might be? Would it take this long? Did you think it'd ever maybe not play again? How bad was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was bad. You know, there was that question, but, you know, they just told me if you go to work, you can come back and be good. So.
And with Roman Wilson, I'm really not getting my hopes up either, because at the trade deadline, we traded for a multi-time 1,000-yard receiver, former top 10 draft pick talent in Mike Williams, and can't figure out a way to get him involved. How are we going to get a guy who's a rookie, who's been hurt essentially all year, including the preseason? How are we going to get Roman Wilson incorporated in this thing if we can't figure out Mike Williams? Considering, too, when Wilson was healthy and practicing mid-season, you know, I think he was healthy, around like week 4, 5, 6, and he was practicing full participant. We ended up giving him only 5 snaps or something in that Raiders game, and that was it. He ended up getting hurt again. We put him back on IR, and now it's almost playoff time, big-time football, and we're thinking all of a sudden Roman Wilson is going to be out there for like 20, 30 snaps. I would like it. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I'm not holding my breath. Logan Lee, same story, I'm guessing, but the caveat with Lee that may get him a better chance than the other 2 is his unique skill set and versatility that he brings to this defensive line that no one else that is a part of this defensive line really has, that type of athleticism that Logan Lee brings to the table. So maybe that provides him an opportunity that's matchup based at some point. And plus with D-line, there's a little less communicating and making sure you have to be on the same page with your teammates that goes on compared to being an inside linebacker and a receiver. So I feel like there would be less risk in Lee being out there, even if he's not like fully integrated with what we're doing and have the full wherewithal. So like there could be a chance just based off matchups and some of that athleticism that Logan Lee brings to the table. But again, I don't really have high expectations for any of these three guys. But they were designated to return for a reason. So maybe it's just to have insurance, extra depth for the playoffs, which I think is fine. Worst case scenario, that's 100% fine. But in Week 18, if the offense is just again and the defense is getting cooked against the Bengals, maybe you do switch things up. Throw Roman Wilson in there, Cole Holcomb, give him some snaps. Not saying that they'll be the best versions of themselves either, but maybe it's just something to give the opponent different looks, throw them off a little bit. Maybe the new dynamics would give us a little bit of a spark too that we would need at that point. So I don't think it's the end of the world. I think too there's like, because it's the end of the season with us activating them, like we only have like 4 or 5 games left. So if anyone gets hurt and we put them on IR, we don't got to worry about wasting the designation to return, I guess, label on anyone. I don't even know if we have any of them left, but if someone gets hurt and we got to put them on IR, it's pretty much over. That's it for the season. So there's, again, really no risk in making these guys active and getting them out there practicing. At least if they actually are available, it's some extra depth, it's some extra insurance. But who knows? I mean, Roman Wilson, 3rd-round pick, higher pedigree guy. Cole Holcomb, we paid a decent amount last offseason to play for us. And when he was out there, he was like our main inside linebacker, him and Quan Alexander. He was playing good before he got hurt. So who knows? Who knows? But moving on. Pro Bowl voting. I think we're going to find out who makes the squad pretty soon here. I think it's tomorrow. I think it's Thursday. But the fan voting portion of the Pro Bowl is officially done. And the results say that 4 Steelers were fan favorites at their respective position, got first place voting. Cam Hayward on the defensive line. Miles Killebrew for special teams. Christian Kuntz for long snapper. And Chris Boswell at kicker. And then TJ got second for outside linebacker in the AFC and was third in the NFL behind Bonito from the Broncos and then Van Ginkel from the Vikings. So even though TJ wasn't first in the fan voting, we know TJ's going to make the Pro Bowl along with those other 4 guys. And I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Well, like, obviously it's not bad. It can't be considered a bad thing to have players being voted to the Pro Bowl, players on your favorite team being voted to the Pro Bowl. But the fact that we got like 3 of these dudes in for special teams, like, I don't know. I'm not trying to knock it. I'm not trying to knock special teams at all. I'm all for it. But when you think Pro Bowl, you think Minka getting in, George Pickens, a Patrick Queen, a Joey Porter Jr., Najee, a Dante Jackson, the guys we spent some resources on and are playing at more high-profile positions. They're out there at a higher clip than the special teams guys. We're thinking of those dudes, the blue chippers, getting the recognition. It's not knocking special teams because, don't get me wrong, who else is more deserving than Killebrew, Christian Kuntz, or Chris Boswell? No one else is more deserving. Those guys should get in. They deserve it. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's just a little disappointing because my expectations about this team, because right now it's looking like it would only be Cam and TJ from like the more high profile positions or the normal positions on offense and defense getting in. Maybe my expectations about this team are different from reality right now. Maybe that's it. And the sad part about it is it wasn't that way 3 weeks ago, because the expectations, I felt like, of the Steelers being a legit team and the reality of the situation were in alignment. We were 10-3 coming off that nice win against the Bengals, but right now, I don't know, because it's one of those things where when you're a top team, you're a legit contender, you're talking about multiple main guys on offense and on defense getting in the Pro Bowl and being recognized at the tops of their positions. But I also guess it ain't that deep because it's the Pro Bowl and this is fan voting. We know the popularity contest aspect of it that goes into it, and Sometimes the fans don't know ball. They're stupid. But, shit, sometimes it is nice to call the voters out, say they are idiots, say that they don't know ball, that these Steelers got snubbed. What are you guys thinking? I don't know if I could really say that at this point. If these are the 5 that get in, TJ, Cam Hayward, and then the 3 special teamers, like, who else am I defending got snubbed? Who else am I sticking my chest out for, saying, like, you guys are stupid by not getting him in the Pro Bowl? Maybe Dante Jackson. I think Dante Jackson. And sure, I mean, we could say TJ should be the first vote getter at his position because it's TJ Watt, but we know he's getting into the Pro Bowl no matter what, and he's going to be a first-team All-Pro. He's most likely going to win the depoy, so I ain't stressing about that. And, you know, this is just the fan voting portion. Some guys could still get in, but, again, who are we saying does get in or deserves to get in like that? Minka, Pickens, he was hurt. His stats aren't as good as a lot of other receivers at this point. Patrick Queen, he's had an up-and-down year. Dante Jackson with the picks. That's why I mentioned him. I think Dante Jackson should legitimately get in. JPJ with the penalties. This wasn't the second-year jump that we were expecting. Najee, I don't think the stats have been there over the last few weeks like it was, you know, in the middle of that Russ being the starter run when I think Najee rattled off like 3 or 4 100-yard games in a row. Man, it's also sometimes it's just like, what are we doing here? It's like, damn, I don't. Who even gives a shit? It's the Pro Bowl. It's the Pro Bowl, not the playoffs, not the Super Bowl, but the Pro Bowl. But it's also nice seeing guys on your team get recognized, get their proper respect, and typically that comes with it goes hand in hand with having a legit team. And going back to what I've been saying and going on this rant here, I don't know if we're exactly there right now to where we could have this strong defense for a bunch of other guys on offense and defense getting in. Like, yes, we might end up getting because Dante Jackson, TJ, in terms of guys that didn't get first place votes at their positions, Dante Jackson, TJ, and I'd throw Zach Frazier in there too. So an additional 3 guys, so that'd be 7 dudes to get into the Pro Bowl. But when 3 of them are special teams, you know, does 4 Pro Bowlers on the offense and defensive side, does it hit the same? Or is that a mirror image of where we're at as a team? Because when you are the legit playoff contender, one of the top 3 teams in the AFC, one of the top 3 teams in the NFC, you know, you're getting 7, 8, 9 guys in, and it's not just – sometimes you get the special teams dudes. Sometimes. They get that recognition because they are on a good team. But you get what I'm saying, right? Does the 7 guys potentially get in hit the same when 3 of them are special teams dudes? I don't know. I think you guys get what I'm saying. It's not a knock on special teams. Like, Boswell is the best kicker in the league, so I think that's legit. Like a Miles Killebrew getting in or a Christian Kuntz, is that the same as, you know, a Minka or JPJ or Patrick Queen? It counts. Don't get me wrong. It counts. Trust me. I'm not hating, but damn. Seeing the list, I'm just like, okay, this is cool. But where's the big names at? Where's the guys that we spent money on in free agency? We've spent some high draft picks on. The majority of the fans out here, they're rocking their jerseys. Come on, man. I don't know. But that's it for this edition of Big Deke News. Let me know your thoughts on Cole Holcomb coming back, Roman Wilson, Logan Lee. Do you think any of them will actually play? If you had to bet, which one of those 3 actually gets snaps, who would you bet on? Right now, I'd say Cole Holcomb, I think. I would bet Cole Holcomb because of him being a veteran, him actually starting for us last year. We could use the help at tackling on defense. Doesn't have to be for anything crazy. Maybe it's only a few snaps or something, but I could see that more than Roman Wilson or Logan Lee. Could be wrong, though. And then, thoughts on Pro Bowl first place voting and the guys that got listed from the squad. But that's it. Stay chilling. Peace.